What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony, Lori, and Mike, and we are discussing episode 3 of the Moon Knight series. And we are in Cairo. Yay!
Yay!
Egypt. Egypt.
I don't know.
Yay!
I don't know if we want to say yay because apparently, like literally at the top of the episode, they figured out where Ammit is. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, it's good for Harrow, obviously, but
No harm ever come from following a bug.
no way.
I mean, yeah, he had the bug, so we knew he was going to figure out where she was, where she was anyway. So, but I mean, it's a classic. It's just like the Mummy because it's a race to the tomb to find whoever we're trying to find.
Yeah,
before it's too late.
Now we're in the Mummy section of the show.
Exactly.
We've been in the Mummy section of the show since the first episode.
Yeah, but it really felt like a Mummy episode in this episode. I'm sitting there going, am I watching the Mummy?
I mean, even though they started in the passport forgery section of the Mummy, I don't know how.
So, question: the woman who was forging the passport for Layla, is that someone important? Like, I don't think it was her mother, but it seemed like somebody who was either close to her father or, close to Layla. Like, is that someone important based on what you know from the comics?
I honestly don't know from the comics. It just kind of seemed like it's either her mother or like his sister. Like, I'm thinking like maybe her
aunt or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not Marlene. It's definitely not Marlene because she was too old.
Okay. Because I was like, I'm not getting mama vibes, but I am getting like very close relative, some kind of relation. Like the person is very close to her and obviously knew her father a great deal. So I was just kind of like, okay, what's this? Okay. But anyway, let's move on. First of all, let me just say this now. I know he hasn't been referenced in this show yet, but damn it, Jake is in this show.
Oh yeah,
he is in this show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we talked about. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that possibility in the last episode, but in this episode, especially the blackouts. First of all, you can kind of see Steven is kind of. I feel like he's getting stronger because now he's starting to affect Marc, like. Taking Marc kind of out of that control zone. But when, there are a couple of times in this episode where they wake up from the blackout and of course they're covered in blood and this, that, and the other. At one point there were a couple of guys killed and Steven or Marc is like, Steven, what did you do? And Steven is like, I didn't do that. Or it's vice versa. Marc, what did you do? Marc, don't do this. I didn't do this. So I was like, nah. There's a third person showing up there that neither one of them are aware of. It's got to be.
Yeah. Especially like after the first time he blacked out and he was in a cab going to the airport and then he saw them and they were like, oh shit, but dude, we already told you, get away from us. Like they were scared as shit. Like it's like they got past them living one time and they didn't think they were going to get past them living again. So it's like then he blacked out again and next thing you know, he's holding a shiny knife in somebody's gut. And it's like, bruh.
Right.
I still think the person we saw at the end of the last episode when he woke up in Cairo, I think that was Jacob or Jake.
Could be.
I think
drinking the vodka or whatever.
Well, here's the thing, because I think maybe it started out being Jake. And then I think when we got to him and he got up and he opened up the windows, I think maybe that was Marc at that point, because Marc was probably trying to figure out how the hell did I get here? So I think we were seeing Marc, but I think Jake was who got them there. Or, the one who was there when they first got to Cairo.
Yeah, I think that whole scene was Jake, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, definitely Steven was definitely in the broken mirror. Like looking like, I hate this shit. Like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. And then, I mean, that really didn't, the body language, I tend to agree with Anthony. Like, he was sitting there holding a bottle of bourbon or tequila or something, like, sitting on the floor. And, like, he really didn't give off, like, Marc vibes to me. So, it very well could have been.
Well, see, that's the thing. That was the thing that made me think twice about it, because yes, he's sitting on the floor. He's got the bottle of alcohol, and you do see where the room is kind of a mess. But I feel like when we look at that scene and he looks over into the mirror and he sees Steven. If that was someone other than Mark, like somebody behaving in an unmarked like way, I feel like Steven would have said something like, "What are you doing?" or "What did you do?" or something like that. And it wasn't that. It's almost like Mark was also waking up and Steven was kind of already there. So I feel like I think at this point, Jake is so powerful that when he is in control of the body, the other two have no memory at all of him because they aren't fully aware of him yet, or they aren't aware of him yet. With Mark and Steven, it's a little bit different because they know that each other exists and they've started to interact. So that's why I looked at it and I was like, okay, like I feel like maybe it started out being Jake and then it was Mark, and Mark, he goes to the window, he opens up like, how are we here?
I don't know. Like I think he was just opening the window, but if that was Steven looking at him, Steven already thinks Mark is degenerate. So if Jake looks like a degenerate, he wasn't talking to him anyway after the argument they had. So he wouldn't have assumed it was anyone other than Mark, because that's the only other person he knows is there.
Yeah.
So who might look at this motherfucker? He's passed out getting drunk. I mean, like, he would just assume that that's Mark.
Yeah.
I just say I'm like, Mike, he's not giving off Mark vibes. Like I think Mark would have had a little bit more urgency in what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he like trying to make sure that this doesn't happen, as opposed to just just kind of chilling out, drinking, and like admiring the view. He'd be out there like he was in the next scene where he's chasing people on rooftops like he's doing parkour, and it's like,
yeah, like it seems like Jake would have like a supreme confidence, like I can do whatever the fuck I want to do when I want to do it. So he has no sense of urgency. That's how confident he is.
Well, the thing
Mark, on the other hand, Mark is like, we need to get this shit done.
Yeah. Well, there's been speculation that we've been watching Jake all along, and I agree with everything you said, because I think that while we haven't seen a present third personality, we've seen behavior that isn't indicative of either Mark or Steven. So
yeah, definitely. But when he's first of all, Oscar Isaac has to be in great shape, because like you said, the way he's jumping off these buildings and like running and just kind of, you got to have some physical stamina for that, because I was tired just looking at that. And then the fight scenes, of course, he's sitting there fighting. And this is the other thing with Mark, and why I also feel like we've been seeing Jake, because even when he's in this fight with these guys, he's not pulling his punches, but he's not going for the obvious kill. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like, that's what we've been seeing through the first two episodes. It's kind of like anytime we quote unquote see Mark, people are always dead and Steven's looking surprised, but we see Mark fully in control in this episode at some points, and he's not trying to kill anybody. He's literally just trying to get the information he needs to get. He's defending himself when he needs to, and even when he's faced with this young guy who is obviously trying to kill him, but he's a young guy, he's like, I'm just going to treat you like a kid over here and just spank you a couple of times and put you to the side. So it's kind of like, I think it's obvious at this point that we are dealing with a third person that, they just have not told us we are dealing with yet, because nothing about Mark in this instance or in this episode to me says killer. It doesn't. But
no, Mark's definitely not a killer. He's more of an adventurer Source, he's more like Indiana Jones than anything else to me. It's like he's not someone actively looking for a fight. He's, if anything, he kind of looks to avoid it if possible. Like not as much as Steven does, because Steven kind of doesn't want. Steven wants no parts of anybody unless he's imitating Muhammad Ali in a white suit. But other than that, he's like, nah, we're not. I want no smoke with anybody.
Whoa. Marc's a mercenary. How is that not opposed to killing anybody?
Well, I mean, he's not. I'm saying he's not bloodlusted. I mean, if he has to defend himself, yeah, of course he's gonna kill somebody because he's been in the army and everything else. So yes, he knows how to kill and he'll kill himself to defend himself. But it's not like he takes a particular. He doesn't like to do it.
I don't think that's his priority.
Yeah, it's his last.
Okay, yeah, I associate mercenary. I associate being a mercenary with being able to kill at the drop of a hat. That's just.
I mean, if he has to, yeah.
Yeah. But okay. All right. I see your point.
But I mean, even on the rooftop when he comes in front of the guys, he's sitting there joking the whole time. He's like, "Oh, you killed that guy? I needed to talk to him. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to talk to you." And then when the guy starts flicking the knife and start doing this, he was like, "What? What are we dancing? Are we fighting? What are we gonna do?" So,
when he licked the knife and he punched him in the face, I was like, thank you. Like, don't let him like sit there and try to intimidate you by getting a paper cut on his tongue. Just punch the motherfucker in the face.
Right.
Like, that was awesome. I was like, thank you. Like that was ultra realistic. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and watch you make out with cutlery. We're like, I'm here to fight and find out shit.
Wasn't Rick a mercenary in the Mummy? He wasn't bloodlusted either.
Was he considered a mercenary?
He was a mercenary.
Anthony,
he was an expatriate who stayed in Egypt.
Gonna go back and watch The Mummy. Okay.
Why not?
Why not?
Because I was traumatized the first time I watched it.
You know what, Lori, I'm about to kick you off this show. We will not have that blasphemy against The Mummy. Do you hear me? Absolutely not. Not on this show.
Yes, that will not be tolerated.
That is a movie that I will watch. Like, if you told me you have to pick one movie and watch it back to back, 24 hours, no break, I'm putting on The Mummy. I'm just going to. It's just that hilarious, and it's just that, like, have you guys seen the meme? And it's like The Mummy has the sexiest cast ever. It doesn't matter whether you're straight, whether you're gay. It's like, either way, you're going to be lusting after these characters. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Well, the backstory is, when I was a child, again, Mike's going to say I'm not surprised, I was obsessed with archaeology and Egyptology and mummies. So I scared myself so bad in those old black and white mummy films. So when The Mummy came out, I was terrified to watch it because I'm freaking myself out. So, like 6th grade reading how to do mummification, scared myself. So
I'm not surprised.
You need to do yourself a favor and go back and watch it now and just enjoy it. There is nothing more glorious than watching this movie. It's amazing. It's so much fun. It's like, yeah, you have to go back and look. Don't make me make that my birthday. Oh
God. I will watch it, but I
actually thought about it.
But in my defense, the third one, when they did the Chinese one, that was horrible.
We do not speak of that movie.
Thank you.
We do not speak of that movie. Absolutely not. That movie falls. Like in the same hemisphere as The Last Airbender and Dragon Ball Evolution. We don't talk about those movies.
Oh my God!
In the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, we don't.
We don't.
It was
See, there's my line.
It wasn't good.
The refrigerator scene alone is enough not to watch that movie.
It's not. I mean, it's not as bad. I mean, I agree with Dragon Ball Evolution. I actually caught I caught a little bit of Dragon Ball Evolution, and it ruined the rest of my day. I was like, God damn it.
I think watching that movie, I was like, what the fuck is this?
I was a captive audience to that movie. They showed it on the flight from Atlanta to Vegas.
I would have jumped.
I'm so sorry.
I would have jumped.
That's why you always carry a book with you.
Or a parachute. Like, I'm out.
I'm so sorry.
A white Goku? I'm sorry. No.
We're not supposed to talk about this movie.
That's not what we're doing. No,
we're not. We're We're gonna go back to Moon Knight because no, we can see her talking about how horrible those movies were all day long, and no.
Well, I have a question. Okay, I have it on like I know everyone else does. My question is that when he finds his way into the area with all the different gods and Hathor's person comes up, I understood what she was saying about just let it take you over, but what I didn't get is that everyone else had sort of a normal voice when they were talking in their God mode. How come his God mode sounded like he was going through puberty? I mean,
probably because that was the first time. The other ones have probably been serving as avatars for a long time, so they probably found a way to kind of fuse with their gods in a better way. But if this is the first time, especially if you're not aware of what the sensation is going to be and all
that's true,
then it would sound kind of weird.
It was really off-putting.
His instinct is to fight that control anyway.
And doggone it, Oscar Isaac is, I mean, if he has to do another doggone voice, like he is killing all. I'm like, he sounded just like Khonshu. I was like, I had half of mine that they were dubbing him in, that they were dubbing Abraham in. But it's like, but see, this is how good of an actor good job of acting he's doing in here. Is like, I wouldn't put it past Oscar Isaac to be imitating his voice that well.
Well, and don't forget, when they do the scenes with him when he's looking at himself in the water and in the mirror, that's actually his twin brother that's doing that part. Because they put his twin brother in that.
Yeah, his twin brother is his stunt double.
Yeah.
Which will explain a lot of stuff coming up later.
Right.
Like you look at it and you're like, oh, that shit's smart.
Yeah. It was very smart the way they did that.
Yeah, it was.
Mike, you just phenomenal. Did that, and I thought about that meme.
That was really good casting. But yeah, it's just Oscar Isaac. If he doesn't get nominated for something and win something, like I just give up. It's like, what else do you want him to do?
He needs
at this point,
because like I said from the first episode, this is a masterclass on screen. Like, we're watching this every week. This is a masterclass. This, like, he is phenomenal in this role. Phenomenal. But anyway, Mark and Steven going back and forth, arguing with each other. I think that's funniest to me because they're like, first of all, they're trying to figure out who the hell is killing everybody. They're like, I didn't do this, you did this. No, I didn't do this. You need to stop listening to that stupid pitch.
Pigeon.
I
think it's funny.
And Khonshu, every time I look at this, like, I have it in the background, the kid just kind of cut his tie and went over the cliff, and I'm looking at Khonshu and I'm like, I know, like, I don't understand anything when it comes to graphics and CGI and that stuff. That's just not my wheelhouse. But I'm looking at Khonshu and I'm like, how do they do this? Because he looks like he's a real being and his head is floating away from his body, but he still looks real. I don't understand how they do that. He looks like a real freaking person.
Disney pays somebody a lot of money to be able to do that.
They have to. Well, it's money well earned because good grief.
Yeah.
But I know that's got to be funny trying to act against that, because I know that that's not actually what he's talking to. But so anyway, Khonshu is, he's basically trying to lay it down to Mark that, look, this is what we're supposed to do. You said he wouldn't get involved, and we need to get to the tomb before Harrow releases Ammit. We need to go talk to the guys and let them know. And Mark is like, how are we supposed to do that? Khonshu's like, well, I have an idea. And he causes an eclipse. And apparently this is something of course, he's causing an eclipse during a time when none is supposed to be there. So he's like, yeah, I'm sending the guys a message. Like, you sending them a message the whole world got to watch? Like, I don't think that's a good thing. But again, Harrow is like, yeah, I'm about to be summoned, or, I think this was before then, but he's like, yeah, you're getting desperate, old bird. He was like, no matter what happens, keep digging. And it's just so weird to me. Like, I don't understand the whole Avatar and God connection, because obviously he says he was Khonshu's avatar at some point, and I don't know at what point or what happened to make that relationship break, but he still knows what's going on. Like, he looks at that, he was like, yeah, y'all keep digging, keep doing this, I'm about to be called upon. So apparently, as you know, the gods are being summoned, he feels like he's going to be called to this place, and we see that he does, as you know, I guess not necessarily a witness, but because Marc accuses him and Khonshu accuses him. And of course, Harrow finds a way to turn it all around onto Marc and Khonshu. And I have to say, Khonshu is not my favorite person at this point, but I did kind of feel sorry for what was happening in the tombs, because I was like, y'all are supposed to be gods. Y'all are supposed to be all knowing. How can y'all not realize that Marc is telling the truth and Harrow is lying? Like, is Harrow that good of a liar?
Yes. And well, on top of that, they are not all knowing. That's number one. Remember, this pantheon of gods, they're not necessarily all knowing, but they are, and none.
And also they're
Odin kind of cheated with the all-knowing thing. Like, he had spies everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, he had his spies out giving him information. So it's not, gods don't necessarily know everything that's happening. And two, they already had a bias against Khonshu, because Khonshu and whatchamacallit, they were, because she was banished, and they just kind of shunned him, but they didn't banish him. But they're already biased against him because he sounds like a raving lunatic. And then he comes in there and he sounds like a raving lunatic. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not being reasonable. He's not being patient. He's doing what Khonshu does. He's accusatory and inflammatory. Yeah. And all Harrow has to sit there and look like the rest of the avatars. Hey, I'm just here doing my own thing. And he's just pissed off. Look at him. Look how crazy he's acting. And on top of that, he got a crazy person. Are you not crazy? Yeah, I am kind of crazy. Okay, it's a settled okay. So all the other gods are kind of trying to be reasonable. Khonshu sounds like a raving lunatic, and you're right. I feel bad for him because he was right, but he was doing it the wrong way.
I know, but that when Marc had to sit there and admit and say the words, "I am broken," I was like, that made me so sad. Yeah. Like, technically speaking, yes, but I don't know. Just Harrow getting over on him, even in that small instance, bothers me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but see, you guys are forgetting the one thing too. The gods, because they're gods, they don't think that anyone who comes before them is going to have the balls to lie. They just assume that whatever they're told is the truth because they're all powerful gods. Puny humans aren't going to do that. So it never occurred to them that what he was saying was a lie.
And as we just saw in the Multiverse of Madness, no spoilers, that power and arrogance aren't really conducive to groups of people.
Yeah, this is true.
You know? Yeah, it's not conducive to a whole lot of things. Yeah. Also,
spaghetti,
like,
heavy.
You know what? Stop, because Lori has not
headaches,
seen it yet. Yeah. Stop it.
So stop it. But also, it's like the only person I really feel sorry for is Marc, because Marc has no idea what the hell's going on. It's like he knows it's true, but he's actually sticking to facts. It's like, and Harrow is just, and like you said, Harrow's just kind of like, look at him, listen to him. It's like, I don't think he really ever said, no, I'm not looking for Ammit. I don't think he ever said, he never denied it. All he did was cast aspersions on Khonshu and Marc. He just basically was talking about them, and he didn't say, no, I'm not doing it. He just said, you gonna believe him? Like,
yeah, and I think Harrow also has an advantage, if you will, because of the fact that he has been Khonshu's avatar before. So he kind of knows the manipulation of Khonshu and the things that he will tell his avatar and the things that he will do to get what he wants, whereas Marc is still figuring this out. And not only that, Marc is figuring this out as a person dealing with another personality living inside his mind. So it's kind of like Harrow has the advantage at that point, because he can say what he wants to say and then put it back on Marc and be like, yeah, are you going to believe this broken man? Which I was like, broken. Let's talk about broken, Mr. walking around with broken glass in my shoes. And that bothers me every time I hear it just crunch, crunch, crunch. Like, what is the purpose of the glass in the shoes?
And think about it like this. It's like, they're really common ways. You can look it up on YouTube. A really common way to pass a lie detector is to put a thumbtack in your shoe, so that every time you tell a lie, you hit the thumbtack, and it gives off a message like the message it gives off is that you're in pain. Like you kind of set the bar, the line where it is, where you step on it, and it gives you that feedback. So I mean, he has the equivalent of 200 thumbtacks in his sandals. So I mean, he could just like squish his foot up a little bit. And he's like, yeah, I mean, look at him. It's like he can maintain his level of calm while he's doing his religious subjugation and flogging and foot flogging, and he can like maintain calm and not give away anything, and only give away what he wants to give away. So I mean, there's that too.
That bothers me. Like, why are you walking around with glasses?
Oh, it's disturbing to be sure. Crunch, crunch.
Right. One of the things that tickled me, or I guess made me happy, when they're walking through this passageway and they're going into the pyramid of Giza, Steven's excitement in the reflection, he was like, oh my God, we're here, we're in the pyramids of Giza. I don't care. Steven is my, I love Steven. Yeah. He needs to be in the forefront because I love I've said this before from the first episode, I like his, I won't say childlike behavior, but he has an innocence about him that I like, as opposed to Marc. Like, yeah, Marc is the one that's a little more sure, a little more confident, because that's what he has to be, given that, like you said, Laura, he is a mercenary. He is the actual avatar of Khonshu. So he has to be a little bit more tough, but I don't know. Something about Steven's demeanor I don't know, it just resonates with me. I'm like, just give Steven all the things. You're in Cairo. Just let him explore all the stuff. Just, leave that silly God business over to the side. Just let Steven have his fun. Let him do all the things, as long as he's not reading any books. Just let him do all the things. Wait. Also, I feel like Steven is the one who would know, okay, yeah, we're not going to read this book because no, we're not having any curses coming upon us today. And we're not having anything chasing. I have a feeling like Steven would be the one that would tell Evie, no, we're not doing that. But
he's also a sucker for a pretty face. So she would have said no harm ever came from reading a book, and he'd be like, okay.
Well, I mean, have you seen said pretty face? I would be a sucker too.
I'm just saying.
Okay, you can read the book. Exactly.
Right. just a few lines, not the whole thing.
It's just one page.
Yep. But one of the things that I liked about watching them approach all of the gods' avatars, and again, this is something that we've said with this show and with other shows, I like the diversity of all the gods. They had people from different ethnic backgrounds up there, as opposed to just all one flavor. As we are wont to see. Let's not talk about the gods of Egypt, but I'm just saying. Anthony,
that movie is a masterpiece. I'm joking, but I still watch it at least once a year.
I've never seen it, don't want to see it. No. Why were you sipping your tea for so long, Anthony?
What movie did you say, Lori?
Gods of Egypt.
I was making a joke.
Oh, okay.
I actually watched it about 4 or 5 times.
I was about to look.
A horrible movie. It is a horrible movie.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Pause the podcast. We need to have a discussion.
We need to have a vote of no confidence.
Why on me? Oh, come on. I said it was a horrible
movie. Well, she said she was joking, so
I was joking. No, the thing, okay, now Rick Riordan, who does Percy Jackson, he has a series of books called The Red Pyramid. It's a series of 3 books, and those are the Black children, and these are the African and mostly Egyptian gods. And Rick Riordan does a wonderful job of breaking down all the gods, their backgrounds, what they're for, what the duat is, the overvoid. I mean, if you want a lesson in Egyptology, read these 3 books. And so I'm comparing that in the back of my head as I'm watching this, especially with this whole thing with the gods and the pantheons, because they're doing a better than average job depicting on how they would do. So as we get on into later episodes, I'm going to be curious to see how much they're going to get involved. But yeah, I like what I'm watching on this, and the God thing with the, like you said, the different ethnicities and the different things. But yeah, no, this is good. This is close to what the Red Pyramid in my mind would be. And I heard that they might make it a series later on after they finish butchering everybody for the Percy Jackson new series, but that's a different story. Annabeth can be Black. Leave her alone.
What Rick Riordan said, she was the best person for the job, and did a whole blog post.
I saw. Yes.
So yeah,
I'm sitting there going, "What does it matter as long as we get Annabeth? That's all we need."
Between that and Doctor Who, like,
well,
I actually,
as far as that, my only comment on that was the fact that he was involved in the casting. So there's that.
You talking about Rick Riordan?
Yeah.
What was that?
He was involved. He was part of the casting. Mm-hmm. So,
well, that should be in the story right there. Well, yeah, but see, the only problem they're going to have is if they do a spinoff and they do Annabeth Chase's cousin Magnus Chase, because that's a series of books, and Magnus is a Nordic god who died, and he's like a kid in like under Dead Academy stuff. So they might have a problem with that. But other than that.
Well, my answer,
there's like 4 or 5 different variations.
My answer would be the same as his. It's freaking fantasy.
You know. I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited. Yeah,
it's my story. I can cast who I want to.
Right, and then the second part, of that is his freaking story.
Right.
You know, if he wants, he can do whatever he wants to do with his story. That's why, that reminds me, I know this is off the subject, but when people were arguing about whether or not the dragons in Game of Thrones were wyverns or dragons.
Oh God.
And George R. R. Martin's like, they're dragons. Well, I mean, that's like the end of the discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And, and see, the thing is that, like I said, once they get everything together and we see it, because I'm just excited that they're doing Percy Jackson, because I was sad that we never got the 3rd movie. I mean, I love Rick Riordan. He is one of my favorite writers. So if he said, this is who we got, this is what we're going to do, just film it, show it to me, and let's move on,
Yeah.
And we're not going to continue. This is not towards you, but at some point we're going to stop giving a voice to that certain group that always has an issue with certain things.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to ever convince them otherwise, and their agenda is very specific.
True.
And you can't really
There's no point.
There's really no point.
Which is when they announce a certain person as a doctor, and then I delved deep and found out something else about the doctor. I'm like, oh, I'm surprised they didn't jump on that part of the doctor cat choice, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm excited. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen anything negative about the new doctor yet.
Oh no, there's not negative, but the people that Anthony was referring to, not only is he Black, he's gay.
Oh, so I still haven't seen anything negative. So I'm like, I'm really surprised because nothing negative has come across my timeline. Like everybody has been so excited. Like, oh my God, he's such a good actor. He'll be great in this role. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like I said, I'm surprised they haven't gone that direction. Because you know how people are.
They'll get over it.
Oh yeah.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll be all right. But anyway, getting back to Moon Knight, let's go back there. So I'm watching it in the background, and this is, it's kind of where they pretty much have dismissed Marc and Khonshu. Like, yeah, okay, you know what? we're not gonna believe you about Harrow, and you're just gonna be whatever. So Hathor's avatar tells Mark, okay, so Ammit was buried in secret, and there is one person who may know where she's buried, and or may have known where she was buried. And she says it was one man, a Medjay named Senfu. He was tasked with recording the location of the tomb in case the gods ever changed their minds and decided to show mercy. So she's telling him, you find Senfu's sarcophagus, and then you'll be able to find out Ammit's tomb. And so she tells him that the sarcophagus was sold, was stolen and then sold on the black market because, of course, why not? Everything is stolen and sold on the black market. So anyway, Mark walks into the square in Cairo like the most obvious person in the world, like not blending in at all. And of course, Layla finds him and sees him. She was like, yeah, you're not doing well blending in. So we already know this is about to be a trip because Layla is here. Mark obviously doesn't want her here, but she's like, yeah, I'm going to keep you from getting killed because you're in my city now and you stick out like a sore thumb. So talk about saying yes to pretty faces. They have some issues in this episode, not necessarily issues, but Layla is there, and while they're looking for all this stuff, or while they're looking for the location of Ammit's tomb, they kind of go back and forth between Mark and Steven, and she kind of has a connection with both of them. Like when they're on their way to go look for the sarcophagus, they're on a boat, and there's like a little celebration taking place on the boat, and they start reminiscing about their marriage, or about their wedding rather. And it's kind of like you see that there's still like a connection there. Like Mark obviously still cares about her, but for whatever reason, he's just kind of keeping her at like arm's length. And I don't know, it's just like, I need Mark to tell this girl what's going on. Like, if you try to protect her, you need to let her know that. Because something tells me after watching this episode, Layla don't need too much protecting.
After the last episode, we saw that Layla didn't really need protecting.
Yeah, but in this episode, we really see that she does not need protecting, because when those fights at the end of the episode, Layla was holding her own and she was kicking some ass. Like, she had some moves. I'm looking at her like, what? Oh, okay. So Mark, why are you being all overprotective and stuff? This girl clearly can hold her own. Yeah. But
anytime you wear a necklace and turns into a weapon, is like, she's all right. She's gonna be fine. Just don't worry about it.
Right.
Like, that whole scene was fire. I mean, even with and we have to mention homeboy who died. What's his name?
Gaspard Ulliel.
Mm-hmm. That was so tragic. It's like, and then the way they left it was actually, it was almost open-ended, like where he probably could have come back if he was still alive, or he could have run off and died. And I was like, damn, that sucks, man.
Well, he was supposed to be Midnight Man. Is that right, Lori? No, well, never mind.
I can't remember. I think I saw something about who he was supposed to be, end up being, but it's like, I can't remember. I think you're right. I think you're pretty. I think you're close.
They cast him with it being a possibility that he would continue his role and become the Midnight Man, who was one of Moon Knight's villains, I guess you would say.
Okay.
But part of his rogues gallery, that would have been, and that would have been like one of his ongoing adversaries.
Okay.
Right.
And that's why they left it open-ended like that, because that was before he died. So
yeah, because I mean, he passed like what, 2 weeks or a week before the show premiered.
Yeah,
it was very close to when the show premiered. He died in one of those freak skiing accidents. He was skiing.
Who's this?
The guy who played what was his character's name on here?
The one, the horse.
Ulliel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he passed away?
He died about a week or two before the show premiere.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Skiing accident. He was skiing and bumped into someone and got rushed to the hospital by a helicopter and didn't make it.
Okay, so, don't go skiing because I can name a few people who've passed me.
I know
that way.
It's just...
Do not go skiing.
Yeah, Anton Mogart. He's supposed to become the Midnight Man. And I thought,
how old was he?
He was like 36,
he was young.
I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was kind of young.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was going to be Midnight Man?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That's wow.
Yeah, and his thing was stealing ancient artifacts and treasures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he was sort of opposed to Moon Knight.
Okay. Now here's the question I have, and it just played that part in the back. So they're just now arriving at Mogart's compound, and she of course they're going in kind of Marc is going in kind of undercover. Like Mogart is familiar with Layla, who she is, and the guy that she meets up with at first and who takes her to Mogart, he says something about he'll be glad to see you. I'm sure after Madripoor, you have a lot to talk about. Am I correct in thinking that this is the same Madripoor that was?
Yes.
There's only one.
There's only one.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yep, that's the same one.
See, so Madripoor is one of these shows in some kind of way.
Well, Madripoor is actually an X-Men thing, but they've expanded it to like everybody.
Okay. But I'm like, okay, so what happened to Madripoor?
Everything.
With Layla everything. Specifically, like, I'm curious.
You know, the they could connect it in 14 different ways. I mean, you could do everything from Agent 33's Sharon's character to Iron Man to even Claw from Wakanda. I mean, you could just do 14 different things and it would all make sense to connect because it's Madripoor.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, so when they get to this sarcophagus, of course, you know, Layla is telling Marc, she's like, okay, we need Steven. You need to let Steven out because Steven knows this stuff. We need you to let him out. Marc's like, no, I'm not letting him out. And of course, you know, they're in this place that's got reflections, and Steven is like, oh, this is such and such. And yeah, you need to give me control, Marc. You need to give me control so I can handle this. And again, it's so much fun watching Oscar Isaac go from one personality to another because there's such a difference in them both. But it's like where Marc is looking at the sarcophagus like, okay, so what are we supposed to do? Steven comes in and he was like, oh, my stars. Okay, look at this. Oh, we're supposed to do this. Or, you know, that's what he's telling him because Marc doesn't let him have control, but he tells Layla, okay, I need to talk to Steven for a little bit. So just kind of, you know, go out there and distract them. So Steven is telling Marc what to do with this, my mind just went blank. The little mappy thing on the sarcophagus. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Yes, the mappy thing on top of the dead body thing. That, you know.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
You mean the cartouches and the hieroglyphics?
Yeah, with all the little picture things.
The cartouches, yeah.
But anyway, so Layla's out there trying to, you know, keep them distracted while Marc and Steven are trying to figure this out. And of course, they, you know, Mogart starts being like, oh, hold up, y'all are doing something funny. And, you know, they kind of bring Layla and Marc together again under the threat of, okay, I'm about to kill y'all both because y'all lied to me. And here comes Harrow. I was like, how in the hell did you find them? But of course, he had people following them.
He has people everywhere.
He has people everywhere. But they, Harrow comes up to Mogart and he was like, yeah, so they're lying to you. This is what I can do. And this is what I can offer you. Do you want to see that this stuff is real? And I was like, oh yeah, that's how you're about to get the bad guys. Cartonnage, that's what it's called. But when they start this whole fighting thing, first of all, Steven, you need to know how to fight a little bit more before you just start being like, give me the body, give me the body, give me the body. Because once he starts getting stabbed, he's like, Mark, take over, Mark.
No. The thing is, you can't take over the body and be like, whoa, everybody calm down. Everybody take it easy. I know everybody's a little worked up now. You can't be doing that shit. Like, if you're gonna take over and start, start like a butterfly, sting like a bee, do all that shit. Don't be trying
to diffuse it with humor.
He was trying to diffuse a situation where men are riding around on horses with spears, poking you with them. There's no diffusing that situation. Like, why? What did he? I mean, I was like, Mark, Steven, bro, just hide, just go back, just go. Like, geez, dude, come on. He's smarter than that. He's more chicken than that. He needs to listen to his chicken shit side than just like the hide.
I was like, I don't know if he's smarter than that in those situations.
He's still
obviously not, because he got Shiska Bob and was like, Mark, help,
That shit was hilarious. I mean, it wasn't funny, but it was funny because he was.
That shit was funny. That shit was hilarious.
The human pin cushion. That was hilarious.
Give me control. Oh. You take it, which again, in a lot of ways, to me, that's kind of signaling that Steven is getting stronger, though. I will say that personality seems to be getting stronger, because now he can pretty much take over when he really, really wants to.
I don't know. Right. I think it's easier to hold on to it and harder to take it over. I think that's how it's working. That's why Mark is reluctant to give it up, because it's harder for him to take over.
But that's why I say I feel like Steven is getting stronger in that sense, because apparently Mark has been able to control it pretty much his whole life. He even said it to Layla on the boat when she confronts him about it. She said, you could have told me what you were dealing with. And he was like, up until recently, I had it under control.
Yeah.
So that's telling me that the Steven personality is getting stronger, because now Mark can't just stuff him back in the back of his mind and be like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to put you in the back until I need you. No, like Steven is like, okay, give me control, damn it. And when he wants it enough, we see he's taking control. Now, I will say this too. When he was fighting the other guys in Cairo, and there were the two instances where Mark blacked out and woke up, in the cab, and then woke up on the rooftop with the knife in the gun, the guy's hand. We see that Steven is reflected to him saying, Mark, you can't do this. Mark, don't do this. Mark, stop. And then he blacks out and he wakes up. And of course, like I said, things are different. But I'm wondering if in between those times when Steven is pleading with Mark and Mark is blacking out, it's not necessarily that Mark is blacking out, but it's Jake at that point saying, okay, you know what? I need both of y'all motherfuckers to go somewhere so I can handle business.
Yeah, because
I feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah, Jake is the personality that does what Mark cannot do.
Yeah.
Like he crosses that line.
I feel like when Steven is kind of getting there, when he's getting to the point that he's strong enough to push Mark out of control, that's when Jake steps in like, nope, we're not having this. And then both of them in the back of the mind, and when they wake up, they're kind of like, what the fuck did you do? I didn't do this. You did this. No, I didn't do this. And at no point are they thinking, well, maybe there's more than two of us in here. Because you would think that Mark would be aware if there was somebody else there, but just what I've been seeing, I don't think he is.
He's not.
Okay, because I was gonna say, in the comics, is he aware of Jake being there, or is there something like, is there a catalyst for bringing forth the Jake persona?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not a comic book that I read, so
okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So, and I know
But my understanding is that they were all aware of each other. Was my understanding that he was aware of the personalities.
I think at some point, but it's like maybe this is early on in their cognizance of the other one's existence.
Right. Because I was going to say in the first episode, Steven wasn't aware of Marc. You know, he didn't even know that he was part of a, dissociative identity disorder. So he didn't know that there was another part to him. So yeah, that maybe it is kind of early on in this.
Yeah, where Marc's the only
symbiotic relationship.
Marc's the only one that's aware of Steven, but Marc still isn't really aware of Jake. So it's like there's still a little bit of something that is hidden from each one of them that they don't know. So it's still like a world of discovery that needs to happen.
Okay. All right. But this fight again, Layla, that girl can handle herself, because all hell breaks loose. You know, Harrow uses his cane or his staff to destroy the sarcophagus, and then of course he disappears. He leaves. Marc disappears, and Moon Knight appears on the top of the thing, and they start this fighting. Now, this when he jumps off the building and his cape forms the crescent moon, it's corny, but I like it. It's really cool, but it's corny. But anyway, so he comes down and they start fighting, and she starts fighting as well. You know, she tells him, buy me some time. He's like, yeah, I can do that. And he starts doing all this stuff, and he's killing it. Well, literally, he's killing everybody. Because their bullets are kind of ricocheting off his suit. I don't think he's killing anybody on purpose at this point, because even when he takes his little boomerangs, it's just knocking people down, and he's just knocking people down. But then, you know, they start really tearing into him. And I think at this point, he's like, you know what? Forget this nice guy stuff.
Right.
Go ahead and start killing. But when he starts getting there, that's when Steven is like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. And here comes Steven. And of course, like you said, he tries to diffuse the situation. Hey, let's not do this. And their answer is to like stab him multiple times with spears. He's like, nope, Marc, take it back. Take it back.
Turn him into Moon Knight fondue. Like, yo, chill, get off me.
Dude, yeah. But I mean, can you imagine being in the middle of a fight? You're like, give me the body, Marc. Give me the body, Marc. My daughter was watching and she was like, Steven, baby, this is not the time for you to be exerting some control. Like, no. I do like seeing him in this suit though. But, you know, the fact that you can't even curse in the midst of all this, you're like, just chill the F out for a second. No, Steven, go sit down. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Let Marc handle it. Let Marc and Layla handle it, because again, Layla handling her business. But so let me ask you a question. Okay, the Jake persona, and I know we haven't like officially seen him yet. Like they haven't referenced him in here. We just know that obviously there's something going on with him because of the differences in what happens with Steven and Marc. But does the Jake persona have his own version of the suit?
He must. I think he might. I think he actually might.
I don't think he does.
In the comic books, he doesn't, but in the show, we don't know.
Okay. I was just curious because I was like,
it would be cool if he had like a darker one that was almost like completely black, which would explain why guys can't see him like going back and forth and killing everybody like within a certain, or it's like somehow his suit like camouflages him or something.
But, oh, you mean like the dark gray Moon Knight suit, the one when he goes dark?
Yeah.
But is this suit not because the one that he's fighting with here in Mogart's little thing, it looks darker than.
It does look darker. See, there's 3 different suits. There's the silver, there's the white, and then there's like a dark, like this one, but a little bit darker. Okay. And each one is based upon how, and I know you said I can't say this word, how crazy he is, or how powerful, or if Khonshu is influencing him more or less, and if he's chosen to be more good, neutral, or bad.
Okay.
I thought it also depended on the phases of the moon.
And the phase of the moon too, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. Thank you, Anthony. I forgot all about that.
Okay. Because I was curious. I was like, his suit looks a little different. Like Steven's suit was Steven's suit was still like that pure white. But Marc's suit in this one, it did look a little bit darker. And I was like, is it just because it's nighttime? Or, you know, is there something that's different about it? Is it because maybe we weren't actually seeing Marc? But then when Layla was threatened, Marc was like, oh no, I got to go save her. So I was like, okay, no, that's Marc. So I was just curious as to if there's any differences. Because again, like I said, we haven't been officially introduced to Jake, but we all know that there is somebody else in that, you know, in that body. But anyway, so Layla and Marc, they escape. They go into the desert to try to find Ammit's tomb. And what happens is they put together the burnt pieces, or actually they can't put it together. And this is when they decide, okay, you know what, Steven has to come out because this is his area of expertise. We have to get him out here. And of course, Marc doesn't like letting Steven be in control, but he brings him out, and immediately Steven is like, oh, okay, gets down in dirt, starts putting things together like he knows exactly what he's supposed to do.
Right.
And when they figure out that they have the pieces in the right order, you know, one of the things that Steven tells Layla, because she's like, oh, okay, we can plot where her tomb is. And he was like, no, we can't. He was like, this is the way the night sky looked 2,000 years ago. But of course, you know, the stars kind of change locations as they drift over the years. So unless we know exactly what the night sky looked like when this map was made, we're not going to be able to calculate anything. And Khonshu, now I will say this part of the episode was a little emotional because you could hear it in Khonshu's voice. He was like, I remember that night. I remember all the nights. And he sounds really nostalgic and really emotional about it. Then the best part of the episode comes up, even though it's the worst part of the episode, because this is something you're not supposed to do. And Khonshu already knows, yeah, they're about to lock me in stone. So you need to do exactly what I do. Layla, you need to be ready to record this. And he tells Steven to, you know, put the suit on. And they literally turn back the sky to what it looked like 2,000 years ago. And again, this is something everybody can see.
You know, this is a missed opportunity for them to play the epic Cher song, If I Could Turn Back Time, while they were doing this.
No, we are
turn back time.
No.
Yes. No. It would have been awesome.
That would have made that whole scene cheesy. No, that scene was beautiful. Like, yes, that's a great song for certain things, but for this show, absolutely not. No, we don't need it. The way that the scene happened was
pretty amazing,
because you get to see the sky just kind of going backwards. And of course, everybody is watching this like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay, I have a gripe.
Uh-oh.
Because, well, it's really against the gods. Because, number one, we had a blip where everybody was gone for 5 years. We had a freaking celestial appear in the ocean, you know, and then we had one appear in the sky, you know, over.
Well, we don't know when this takes place. We don't know where in the timeline this takes place.
All the crazy stuff that has happened, right? The gods should be like, you know what? The humans, they'll be all right because they've seen stupid shit already. You know what I mean? And no one has tried to really explain any of this stuff to the general population of the world.
I mean, there's no way to explain it unless Men in Black is in the Marvel universe and they just go around like shing, 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 shing.
I mean, the damage has been done. People look, they saw it, they're like, oh wow, that's kind of freaky. What the hell is going on?
I would have looked at it like, oh, that's so pretty. I think that would have been my first thought because of course, yes, we are in a world where we know that gods and aliens and whatever exists, but I would not have looked at that sky and said, oh, there's something like life altering or it
was a freaking alien invasion in New York.
I would have gotten.
They don't care about what happened in New York.
Okay, saying, but they know about
the canoe that I have in my. The canoe I have in my living room. I would be putting it in my car at that point. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if I would want to be on anybody's water with something like that happening because when something happens in the sky, that kind of messes with the no.
The only people I would have been worried about were the flat earthers. I would have been like, they'd be like, see, it's fake. It's all fake. That's the
they'll be like, oh god.
I would have been like, you don't see that because stuff it's going around in circles. Right. It's literally going in circles.
They would say it's just a light show. Look at it. It's just a light show. It doesn't make any sense.
This is why we don't pay attention to flat earthers anyway. So whatever.
Mike had a terrible joke on TikTok.
Hey, exactly.
There's seen
nothing to fear
so many times over the last few years. Yes.
That was my best. That was a great joke. That was an awesome joke. I mean, come on. And if flat earthers can't take a joke, then they'll get around to it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So anyway, Khonshu and Steven,
pretty good.
They turn back time, or they turn back the star so that it mimics what the night sky was on 2,000 years ago. Layla is she's using the constellations to calculate where Ammit's tomb is, and at the same time the gods are performing their ritual to lock Khonshu up. And Khonshu says, tell Marc to free me. And he disappears. We see him get turned. He basically, what they did was they cast a stone likeness of him, and he is trapped in it now. And then as this happens, Steven loses the suit and passes out. Or at least I hope he's passed out. Because, we talked about it before where we said that maybe Marc was dead and Khonshu brought him back. So if that was the case, what happens when Khonshu is gone? Does Marc die again? Or because of the fact that he has somebody else living inside him, does that mean that he isn't actually dead? I'm just like.
No, you mean when Khonshu is gone, does Marc die because he brought him back to?
Yeah,
I don't think it works like that. I think once he brings him back to life, he's alive.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not reanimated.
See, that's the thing, because alive. I was wondering if, if his life was tethered to Khonshu in that way, because Khonshu did say something earlier in the episode. He was like, "Yeah, see how you like life without the protection of my healing suit." So I'm thinking that suit is helping to keep him alive.
No, the suit is a protective suit. It's like armor.
Okay.
That boosts his, stamina, strength, healing. Without the suit, he's just a regular human.
Right.
The suit is not giving him life. It's just a suit of armor.
So are we thinking that maybe Marc didn't die, but was maybe close to death when he decided to become Khonshu's avatar? Like maybe Khonshu said, "Okay, hey, you're dying, but I can save you from death."
Oh yeah, he was
close to death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are times where he has died and Khonshu has brought it back.
Right. Yeah, but that first time he was close to death in the tomb when all that kicked off.
Okay.
And the suit healed him.
Yep.
Okay. So, Harrow is allowed back into the chamber, and he goes to Khonshu's little what is that thing called? The statue.
His
I can't remember. Like, I don't know. My brain is fuzzed today.
They have a name. I can't remember what they called it.
They do, but he goes to it and he talks to it. And he was like, I just want you to know that, this is all your fault.
Yeah, your torment. He said your torment forged
me. He was like, if I had not, you've taught me the power of healing, and all of this I'm doing because of you. And I was like,
okay. As far as Evil League of Evil speeches go, that was pretty good.
Well, not the way that I just said it, but yeah, I mean
that was good. I mean, that was pure evil. That was Dr. Horrible sing-along blog evil.
And the funny thing is, I don't even think Harrow is doing it for evil purposes. Like, he really thinks that he is doing what needs to be done to save the world. Again, we've had this conversation before with these quote unquote villains who aren't really bad guys. Like, he's not killing people just to kill people. He's not doing this because he's trying to be all powerful, or he's trying to rule the world, or he's trying to control everything. No, he feels like he is saving humanity by allowing Ammit to be freed so that she can pass her judgment on everyone. He thinks that her passing judgment on everyone who is inherently evil, meaning that even if they haven't committed any kind of sin or evilness at this point, that they may in the future, and she apparently can see all of that. He's like, yeah, I'm just ridding the world of evil.
And it's not inherently evil either. It's just, it's just people in general. Like, you may do something bad, you might kill a fly. Oh my God, you're evil. You need to die. Like, I really think her judgment is arbitrary for the most part, but because I'm still not sure if we really even know what her true intentions are.
Right.
Like, Harrow is basically going off of what he learned from Khonshu. And for him, what Khonshu was doing wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Because
Khonshu was punishing people after the fact.
Right.
And in Harrow's mind, well, if we stop them before they do the evil, then things will be better.
Right, but Harrow never,
technically speaking, makes, in some ways, it does make sense.
If you can do it right, but you're taking away people's choice, because in that moment, they may actually change their mind.
Right.
I don't want to go into Minority Report, so I'm just going to pretend like we're not going to have that conversation right now. But like, he didn't make that logical step, as in, the gods banished her for a reason. Like, don't think that what she was doing was actually good for humanity. There was a reason why the gods banished her.
Right.
It wasn't for a good reason to banish her. It's because what she was doing was absolutely terrible. But he's so blinded by his own, issues, because I think he's broken too. Khonshu picks broken people to be his avatars because they're easy to manipulate. And I don't think Harrow recognizes how broken he truly is. I mean, you walk around with shards of glass,
right?
in the bottom of your shoe,
And I mean, that bothers me. Crunch, like you hear it every time he takes a step. My daughter and I are sitting there like, why? It makes no sense to me. But I guess too, I don't know. I just can't think of a good reason why you would want to put glass in your shoe.
It has to be some sort of like, it's kind of like a religious thing. It's just like where they have someone walk across hot coals to prove that they've overcome something or something like that. Or it's like, I think it's some kind of,
he's punishing himself for what he did as Khonshu's avatar.
Could be, yeah.
Which is
weird. It's just like self-flagellation.
It's weird.
Yeah, but it makes sense though. I mean, you can people can inflict pain amongst themselves, like the Catholics do when they do the whole whip thing, because that's their penance for sin. So
all Catholics send emails to, not me.
But what I'm saying is that various religions all around the world have the same type of self-inflicted pain to get themselves to a higher level of spirituality to connect with God. Coals, chains, glass, ritual tattoos, whatever. Every religion you'll find someone does something in order that suffering is going to bring you clarity, it's going to bring you closer to God. I don't find anything weird about the glass. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, whatever. The only thing that bothers me is from a medical standpoint is how is he's not bleeding out every day?
See, that was my question. Or the glass being absorbed into his body. Like,
right. The feet and all that. Yeah.
Well, we don't see his ritual. Like he probably takes really good care of his feet, because people that do that stuff, they have a whole ritual to it. It's just that they're not going to sit there and show us the ritual.
Yeah, I mean, he has a whole flock of followers that he can pick like 3 or 4 to come and wash his feet and like pick glass out of it. And want to do this. Want to do this and all that
stuff.
Yeah. And I wasn't.
And it's like,
I wasn't pointing out the Catholics. I'm sorry, I wasn't pointing out Catholicism specifically to pick on. I was just using that example. I didn't mean anything by that.
We know. I was just messing with you.
As we I'm sorry, Mike. On this show.
I ain't Catholic. I don't care.
No, I mean I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that it's like you can never. He has like I said, he has a whole flock of people that want to do stuff for him. So it's like, I mean, he could probably have people just like taking really good care of his feet, like Hanko said. So.
And it's not weird that he's well, I'm going to stop using weird. It's not odd that he's doing it. It's odd his reasoning for doing it. Like I said, I think he's doing it to punish himself for what he did as Khonshu's avatar.
Okay.
Khonshu's avatar. I think that's what his issue is, because I think he probably feels that Ammit's way is better, because that doesn't require him to go around and slaughter people. If it's better for him, his mind, it's better to do that, to just look at a person's life and judge them based on what they're going to do.
And then suck all of the life out of their body. Right. Oh, that's so much better than slaughtering.
In his mind, that's better because he's not doing it himself.
Yeah,
he's not dishing out the punishment himself, on the person. We can just get rid of everybody, all evil, all at once, one time, and be done with it.
Yeah.
And the only people left are those who are worthy.
I get it. I don't know. I guess, like, we all talk about wanting a world where there's no evil, there's no bad things happening, but I just kind of, I guess I wonder what would that world look like? Like, we always talk about there has to be balance, and I feel like even without all of that, like, yes, it would be nice to not wake up to news about yet another racially motivated, shooting, mass murder, or, people doing this, people doing that, war and all this other stuff. It would be nice to wake up to none of that.
No, because the only way that works is you take away people's ability to make their own choices.
Right.
You take away free will.
Mm-hmm.
Free will.
And that cuts both ways.
Yeah.
Not just for doing bad, but also for doing good.
Yeah.
But we saw that in Doctor Who's it wasn't Children of the Earth. It was New Day. I think it was the name of the last Torchwood miniseries that they did, where they basically removed the fact that no one could die ever. And it was awesome, but it was the American Torchwood that they did that. But the thing is that it caused so many extra problems that at the end of the day, they basically had to reverse the whole thing because too many people who should have been dead because they were horrible people. One of the main characters was executed for being a pedophile, and he came back to life. and he went right back to his same tendencies, but they kind of stopped him before he went too far, but he sacrificed himself. But they had basically stopped fighting. They stopped having war. They stopped having, like you said, racially motivated things. They stopped having everything because all of a sudden no one could die. If you get a chance, check it out. It's Doctor Who. I forget. I think it's Brand New Day or something like that. But it's after the Children of Earth. But yeah, they actually addressed that, Hanako, very well. It's a 5-night event that they did about 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
I guess the thing that would kind of confuse me with that is, okay, so nobody can die.
Right.
So what's being done about population control? Does that mean that no new people are being born, or are people?
Oh no, people are still being born, just no one can die.
So it's just overpopulation.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that creates a different problem.
Oh, yes, different problem. They actually have a solution for that, but it's interesting. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say that creates the kind of problem that Thanos would need to solve.
Yeah, and see, Anthony, honestly, you saw it, right?
Yeah, it was so long ago, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so to get to where we wouldn't want anything like that, because like I said, that would take away all free will, because you have to take away anyone's ability to make any decisions, and the decisions have to be made for them by somebody else. And we wouldn't want to live in a world like that.
No, we wouldn't. Absolutely not. So
you take the good, you take the bad, you bring them forth, and there you have the facts of life. So that's just.
We're not even near the end. You should have saved that for later, because I could have ended on that note.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure Mike has something for us.
The role of bad pun director has been already filled, and I need you to stop applying for it.
I got to keep you on your game. You want to stay at the top, you got to stay at the top.
Keep rising to the top. Yeah, whatever.
I'm really enjoying this series. Really enjoying it. I'm still kind of pissed though, because I'm like, okay, now we're halfway through. I still feel like there's a lot of story to tell, and we only have 3 more episodes left.
There's a ton of story left to tell. This should have been at least 8 episodes. Probably
I agree.
10. It should have been 10.
I would say 10. I think 10 would have done it.
I'm saying at minimum it should have been at least 8. At minimum.
Yeah.
Unless they're gunning for this to be a series and not just a season.
So okay, so we're recording this after the season has already ended. But the day that the season ended, there were 2 tweets put out. One of them said the series finale is today, and then the other one said the season finale is today. And then whichever, I can't remember if it was if it was Marvel or the Disney Plus, whichever one did the series finale, they went back and changed it to season finale. So I think we may be getting another season. I don't know if that's the case, but I've also heard rumors that we will see Moon Knight in one of the other movies. I can't remember which movie it is off the top of my head.
The only person I heard say anything about it, and of course none of them can be believed, is Oscar Isaac. He said there has been no discussion about another season. And he's like, I don't even know if we would even do one. We haven't even talked about it or discussed it or anything.
I believe,
like I said,
nothing nobody in
exactly.
You
can't believe anybody.
Yeah, he couldn't say anything because they're still backing that truck up to his door at his house with the money in it. So yeah.
I mean, there's there's certain people who starred in a successful British American adaptation of a British TV show that said they weren't going to be in be a certain character and ended up lying. So you can't trust what anybody says.
Oh, that could be so many people that you just described.
Really?
about people sitting around, and it's about a paper company.
Oh, okay.
British adaptation of a show about a paper company. It's an American adaptation of a British show.
I know
based in an office.
Yes, it's called the DM is the name of the product. Yes, I know.
Yes.
Let's not get into how big of a fanatic I am of that show. But anyway,
one of the guys that started The Office said he wasn't going to be somebody. Yeah. I'm trying not to spoil things.
Okay, now Oscar Isaac did say that he also said that it took a lot out of him. It was a lot of work, and so
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
He may not be looking to do another series, but a movie possibly.
Just keep backing the truck up and throw an extra couple million. He can get a massage therapist. He can go get, realignment with Ricky or whatever, and and do some Pilates, and he'll be fine.
No, I can imagine that playing someone that has that type of mental illness to where you're distinctly two or more different personalities. I can imagine that taking a mental toll on somebody.
Yeah.
That's got to be exhaustive.
Yeah,
and a physical toll. I mean, just like. Because when people like go into different identities, it's like their body language changes. So it's like you hold your body one way, then you switch. You hold your body another way. Then it's like you're walking one way, then you switch. You're walking another way. I mean, that's physically. That's just like overall exhausting. Like,
which is why again, it was a great idea that they brought his twin in to sort of help out with some of that load. Because that was brilliant. That he did that. Thank God he's a twin. But I mean that was actually cool. I have not seen other past the 4th episode, and I just watched the 3rd episode today. And my overall thoughts on it is that the series is really, really good. They got really deep in this episode, but I agree with you guys that it should have been longer. But my thing is that all these Disney series don't need to be just 6 episodes. They need to look at the storyline and adjust it to fit the story. Now, Hawkeye was good for 6. That was all I needed. But for Moon Knight, I need more. All right. Captain and Falcon and Winter Soldier, that 6 episodes, that was fine. But you could have given me a 7th episode. I wouldn't have been mad. You guys see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean,
now I hear that She-Hulk is going to be 10 episodes.
It needs to be 10 episodes. It really does need to be 10 episodes.
So, and we're getting that one in August.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
I saw August. What was it? The 9th?
August 17th.
17th. Okay. Now she's another one that played multiple characters on, I forget the name of the show.
Orphan Black. Yes, she did. She did so brilliantly.
I'd never seen an episode, but I know she was really good.
You have to watch the episode. She plays a character who is part of an experiment in cloning. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, she played 9 different versions of the same person. Okay, I knew it was more than like 3 or 4. I knew it was a lot of them, but and see, the thing with She-Hulk is that Jennifer is a deep character, but at the same time she's not deep. But they got to go in with the whole thing. So I think 10 episodes would be good. But again, how long are the 10 episodes? Well, WandaVision, that was another thing too. See, I think that they're still in an experimentation phase, Disney Plus, with these series on how long or how short. I don't think they've figured out a set number of episodes that's the right amount of episodes. So I
think they look at their calendar and look at how much time we have between movies.
I'll give you that.
And they figure out we can do, for this series we'll do 6 and the other one will do 10.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I think that's what they look at.
Okay. Yeah. And then it also could be based on the story that they're telling in the series. Yeah. And how and if those series are going to tie into one of the other films. I think they're looking at that too, because you may have, like, let's say with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, maybe the story that they wanted to tell individually about those 2 characters kind of, confronting their issues and learning how to deal with them. We can tell that in 6. But then if we want to explore these characters more, we need story that will probably go into Captain America 4. So maybe they're looking at it in that way too, because that even with, like, say, WandaVision, we always speculated even back then that Wanda was going to show up in the Doctor Strange movie, and she did. And there was a lot about her story continuation from WandaVision in that movie. So maybe they look at it in that sense too. Like maybe with the Moon Knight thing, like I said, if they end up putting him in another movie, or if they, one of the movies that's coming out, or if they create another movie. I know Mike has been talking about this Midnight Suns thing. I don't know if that's something that they would do as a TV show, if they would do something as a film, but maybe they're thinking, okay, well, maybe we just need the 6 episodes to kind of set up who this character is, and then we'll explore this character more in such and such, kind of like Dane Whitman in the Eternals. Like we know that there's going to be something about him. I can't remember if it's going to be a show or a movie, but just like we heard Blade appear at the end of Eternals, so we know that him and Blade are going to be connected. We know there's a Blade movie coming out, so maybe that kind of plays into their decisions as far as how long these shows are, what information they give us in these shows about these characters, because they know that they're going to put that information somewhere else. I mean, they did it with the Infinity Saga. It's kind of like you started off with Iron Man, and then you started off with Thor, and then you started off with Captain America, and then like there were pieces of each story that kind of related to the others, and then it all started tying together. So and then I do know that we talked about this in our Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness coverage, where Anthony said that he felt like that this phase 4 was starting to set up Secret Wars. And I did see somebody else mention that as well. So that could be the case as well too. So that was
I'm just still hoping and praying that they haven't taken on too much. Yeah, it's a great theory. So I just really hope, again, I hope they're not biting off more than they can chew with everything they're going. I'm not complaining, because I really like everything that they've done so far. I just want it to all be to flow together coherently at the end, where it's like where we're not gonna be like, wait, what happened to Moon Knight? Or hold on, what happened to She-Hulk? Like, why aren't you showing them anymore? Or like, wait, who is that? Like, why'd you bring them in? You know what I'm saying? It's like I really want everything to be coherent and to weave together and I really hope that it does. I think I still have confidence that it will. It's just like there's so much stuff out there now. It's just like, wow.
You see, we are the Marvel MCU fandom. We're just a bunch of spoiled brats.
True, absolutely, 100%.
They made us this way.
They made us this way, and they have steadily kept raising the bar from the Iron Man movie. Like, you can't tell me that I could go back and be like Avi Arad and Kevin Feige. This is what it's gonna look like 10, 15 years from now. They would have been like, nah, no way, no freaking way.
Yeah, they would have been like a Moon Knight. Nobody even reads Moon Knight. Why don't we even make a show about Moon Knight?
I'm still blown away. We got Black Panther, but that's a different story. But if you look at what they did, 10 years, 15 years, starting back with Iron Man, and the way that they slowly did everything. So by the time we got to Endgame and Infinity War, we were like, out of the blue, like, oh yeah, they did tie it on, and they did it perfectly. They literally, we didn't even think about when the different movies coming out here, Thor, this Guardians, but when they pulled it together and they stuck the landing, I was like, yeah, you could actually go back and look and see each piece.
Yeah, the advantage they have is that they did it once.
Yes.
Because when they did Iron Man and whatever movie they started out with, they didn't have all this mapped out like that. Like, it was a process where they got to, okay, we could actually go somewhere with all of this.
Right.
Now they're at a point where, okay, we're going to do it again. Well, they know what they need to do. They know how they need to do it because they did it before. So I understand what Mike is saying, but I'm like, I'm not that concerned about it because they did it already. They made all their mistakes already.
And they have that blueprint.
And they know how to do it this time. And they have an additional tool with a TV series, which they didn't have before.
And if you completely blank out Thor 2 and Iron Man 3, it's perfect.
Yeah.
What? I'm right.
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
We're not good.
Well, but you know what? People will say that those movies are very important to the development of those characters.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of is. It's like I mean, Iron Man 2 was where we met Black Widow, so we can't really do without that.
No, I said Iron Man.
She said Iron Man 3.
3.
Oh, that's garbage. No, we don't need.
That's what I was saying. I said Thor 2, Iron Man 3.
We needed Thor 2 because of the reality stone. We had to have Thor 2.
Oh, but Thor 2 was so mind-numbingly bad.
I still haven't seen it.
You've saved yourself. Trust me.
Because people keep saying it's just like I haven't seen the other Fantastic Four. It's like because people keep telling me that it's garbage.
Okay,
but Fantastic Four doesn't tie into the whole.
Not yet. But I cannot unsee Michael B. Jordan as Firestorm.
Okay, sorry. we're going way off now. Sorry.
Yes, let's not do that because we'll have some. Never mind. I won't even say that was going to be a spoiler.
And I even said the name wrong. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. Any final thoughts about episode 3 of Moon Knight?
All right, I'm gonna bring up something that's incredibly random that I saw that might not happen. Okay, so I have a theory.
Okay.
So, and I'm completely prepared for this to be totally off and just like a random Easter egg. So when they were on the roof and they were fighting, the young man that he smacked around that he didn't want to kill, when he grabbed him, you can see on the back of his jacket, there was an image of an Egyptian god. Now, having done my research and like looked up videos and see if anyone else saw it. The video is of I think it's Ammit. I can't remember, but it's the Egyptian god version of God, what's this?
You're supposed to have notes, Mike.
I have notes. I'm trying to bring it up. What's his name? The guy that's going to be in Quantumania. Kang the Conqueror. He's the Egyptian god version of Kang the Conqueror.
Well, that goes back to the actual origin of Kang, so that would make sense.
Yeah. So I'm not even saying that Kang the Conqueror is going to appear in this series. I'm not going to say that we're going to see Ammit, the Egyptian god version of him. I'm just saying that they put him in it to keep him fresh in our minds because Quantumania is coming up next year, and it's been a while since we've seen Loki and seen anything about Kang. It's been so long that I forgot his name. I forgot his name. It's been that long since we've seen anything about Kang. So I think they kind of did that as a kind of offshoot, but like, hey, don't forget about this guy. He's coming up soon. So
I can see that. Because even if that was the case, even if that's what they were doing, I feel like to mention him now when we're not getting Quantumania for like a whole nother year, I think that would be a bit premature.
And also, how many?
Ramatut. That's his name, Ramatut.
Who would actually have caught that other than people freeze framing this?
Like I'm about to do.
Hey, look, Anthony.
Nobody would caught that in passing.
We've gone over this. It's like, unless you don't have to keep doing this, but I, on the other hand, enjoy these things. These things bring joy to my life. It nourishes my soul. So I will continue to do this. You don't have to. That's what I'm here for. I will keep doing it for you until you come back to the fold and realize that, it's much more fun when you're wrong.
I've gone back to that part and I'm like, I'm trying to see what Mike is talking about, but of course I don't see it yet because they're still fighting and he just punched a boy in the face.
Was he a god or a pharaoh? Ramatut.
He's basically Nathaniel Richards, which is who is Kang the Conqueror. And it's like his Egyptian version back in BC.
And he was a pharaoh, wasn't he?
Yes.
Was a pharaoh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. He wasn't a god though. That came later. That's sort of like Ramatut on DC side, the same thing.
Yes.
See, because don't forget Marvel.
The Marvel version of
They basically there's only like one set of superheroes, but Marvel and DC split them down the line and they changed them slightly, to match on each side, like Namor, Aquaman, that sort of thing. Sentinel, Man, that thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Century Superman. But yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, yeah, I can't wait till this next one because they really set it up where we actually have to wonder if they're going to be okay, because it's like, okay, Khonshu's gone, so they don't have access to the suit. What are they going to do? It's like, this is going to be really interesting to see how they handle him either getting back the suit or figuring out, like, freeing Khonshu first in order to get the suit. So they got to figure all that out. And they don't even know where he is. It's like Marc can't get access to that place again. They know what the place is, but they really don't know where it is because he was transported there in a tunnel in the middle of Cairo, but that's not where it was.
Yeah.
It's
they know it's inside. They know it's inside the Pyramid of Giza. They know where it is.
Yeah, but do they know how to get there? Like,
I'm saying this guy get inside. That's it.
Because Khonshu created like a magic portal to get him in there the first time. So, I mean, I'm sure Steven could probably figure it out, but
you mean Stephen Strange, or you meant Stephen Grant? Sorry.
Yes, I meant Stephen Grant. But you know, if they are okay, like if he regains consciousness, they know where Ammit's tomb is now. So I would think that they would go there first and try to figure out, well, one, they need to get Ammit's whatchamacallit thingy. I can't think of what it's called. They need to get that before Harrow gets it. So I think that would be first and foremost, because Harrow is already on his way to Ammit. And for them to go after Khonshu first to free him, that's losing valuable time that they could be using to head off Harrow. So I don't know. Like you said, I guess we, for the next episode, we need to see which direction they take, because at this point, both things are really important. Because like you said, they need the protection of the suit in order to fight against whatever is coming. But if they can go prevent that from happening first and then get the suit, that's equally as important. So I guess it's just a matter of which one makes more sense, in the next episode.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anybody have any final thoughts?
No.
It's gonna be good. I can't wait to see it.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, then that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can watch our videos on YouTube and listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.